Hello there. Today we are going to start learning about general science topic of biology class 8. This book is based on single national curriculum 2022 by Punjab Textbook Board, Lahore. Moving on, the topics which we will cover in this book includes chapter on ecology, human nervous system, variation, heredity and cell division. Biotechnology, periodic table, chemical reaction, acids, bases and salts which is based on chemistry, force and pressure, physics, reflection and refraction of light which cover the topics on physical science, electricity and magnetism, technology in everyday life and our universe, and the last. Moving onwards, ecology. The student will learn in this chapter that why the temperature of the earth is increasing day by day. Then we will cover how does the balance of an ecosystem disturb, and lastly the theme of this chapter is what are the solutions of environmental problems. The student learning outcomes. After studying this chapter, students will be able to describe the role of living things in cycling oxygen and carbon dioxide through an ecosystem, citing the processes of respiration, photosynthesis and consumption. Then they will relate how oxygen and carbon cycles are complementary processes that bring balance and symmetry to life on Earth. Describe global warming and explain how threats to the carbon-oxygen balance such as overpopulation, reliance on fossil fuels and deforestation are contributing to global warming and climate change. Describe how energy flows from producers to consumers and how only part of the energy flows from one level of the pyramid to the next. Draw a food work diagram to illustrate the food relationship between organisms. Describe and illustrate through examples key ecological relationship between organisms, including competition, predation, and symbiosis. Predict how changes in an ecosystem, that is, changes in the water supply, the introduction of a new population, hunting, migration can affect available resources and thus the balance among populations. Student will also be able to hypothesize what would happen in the ecosystem if population of one of the participants with different ecological relationship is affected. Explain the ways in which human behavior, that is planting forests, reducing air and water pollution, protecting endangered species can have positive effect on the local environment. Let's move to the chapter. The environment is our surrounding, has both living and non-living things. Living things are called biotic components, while non-living things are termed abiotic components. Biotic and abiotic components of an environment are interrelated. The study of relationship between biotic and abiotic component of an environment is called ecology. The system of interaction and interdependence between biotic and abiotic component of an environment is called ecosystem. Abiotic component of the environment and biotic component of the environment are related to each other to an ecosystem, and natural cycles are the driving force behind them. In an ecosystem, abiotic matters like carbon dioxide and water are used by plants which trap the sunlight energy and convert them into food. Transport of energy to different organisms of biotic components as food chains is one of the most important functions of an ecosystem. On decay of dead bodies of the organism, abiotic matter fixed in biotic components are released back into abiotic component. In this way, an ecosystem facilitates the transport of different material in cyclic way and maintains the natural balance, as you can see in figure 1.1. Carbon dioxide and oxygen cycle. Carbon dioxide and oxygen are two elements that are essential to life. They are naturally present in the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide and oxygen gases. They constantly circulate between the environment and living organisms in a cyclic way When plants prepare food in the photosynthesis, they take in carbon dioxide from the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide. In this process, they are also release oxygen gas to the environment. Plants take carbon from the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide and release oxygen into the atmosphere, as you can see in the figure 1.2 carbon cycle. All animals and plants respire to get energy. During their respiration, they take in oxygen from the atmosphere and release carbon dioxide to atmosphere. Similarly, during decomposition and combustion of biomass, matter of dead bodies, the oxygen gas present in the atmosphere is used and carbon of biomass is released into the atmosphere in the form of carbon dioxide. The oxygen cycle is given in figure 4.3. Plants produce oxygen during photosynthesis, while animals and plants breathe in oxygen and release carbon dioxide, which is in turn used by plants too during the photosynthesis. Sunlight is used during this process of photosynthesis. Now move on to the next topic, which is energy flow in the ecosystem. We know that organisms need energy from their life activities. They get energy from food. In an ecosystem, plants produce food during photosynthesis and thus termed as producers. During photosynthesis, plants trap energy from sunlight and store it as chemical energy in food. Animals consume the food prepared by plants and thus termed as consumers. Animals that eat plants directly are called primary consumers or herbivores. Animals that eat other animals are called secondary consumers and tertiary consumers or carnivores. Animals and some other humans that eat both plants and eat meat of animals are called omnivores. During this process of eating and being eaten, sunlight energy stored in plant food as chemical energy is transferred from producer to different levels of consumers. As you can see in energy flow in an ecosystem provided in the figure 1.4, energy from the sunlight is taken up by plants, which are the primary producers. Primary consumers eat plants, then which are called herbivores. Then secondary consumers eat primary consumers, which are called carnivores, and tertiary consumers eat secondary consumers and are decomposed by decomposers. So this is how the heat is transferred from the earth and sun to each other. Food chain and food web. Production of food and the feeding relationship among organisms at different levels of a chain is called food chain. A food chain starts at the producer level and followed by herbivore level, primary consumers. Then it continues to carnivores, secondary consumers, and tertiary consumers. At the end, the dead bodies of the organisms are decomposed by decomposers. In reality, food chains are not simple because animals eat a variety of organisms. A fox, for example, does not feed only on rabbits but also take rats and squirrel in its diet. Similarly, owl and hawk may also take different organisms as their food. The relationship or interactions between different organisms can be expressed more accurately as a food web shown in figure 1.6. Where all animals feed in more than one food chain, these food chains are joined together to make a food web. Now you can see all the description through the details pictures given in figure 1.5 food chain and food web in figure 1.6. The relationship between decomposers and producers in a food chain and food web is illustrated through these diagrams. Brain teaser. What would happen if decomposers are vanished from the face of the earth? Moving on to next topic, ecological pyramid. The different feeding level of organisms in an ecosystem are called trophic level and producers, herbivores, primary carnivores. Biologists express the trophic relationship by the diagrams that take the shape of pyramid. These diagrams are thus called ecological or biological pyramid. At the base of the pyramid are producers or green plants. The upper levels are occupied by primary, secondary, and tertiary consumer in ascending order. Usually, primary consumers are herbivores and the rest of carnivores or omnivores. The ecological pyramids are usually based on number and weight of organism at each trophic level. Both the number and weight of organism decrease from base to top of the pyramid. How we can explain the decrease in number of weight? It has been estimated that in an ecological pyramid, the herbivores are generally one-tenth of the weight of the producers and carnivores are one-tenth of the weight of the herbivores. For example, plant weighing 100,000 kg would be enough to feed small herbivore animal weighing 10,000 kg. Similarly, 10,000 kg of herbivore would support primary carnivore weighing 1,000 kg. These carnivores would be enough to feed 100 kg weight of secondary carnivore. As you can see this relationship in an ecological pyramid given in figure 1.7. Ecological interdependence. Organisms in ecological communities interact with one another in three major ways, which are as follows. Consumer predation. Consumers that actively hunt other organisms are called predator. The organism on which a predator feeds is called prey. A frog that eats an insect is a predator. The insect that is a prey. The frog itself is prey to other organisms such as snakes and storks. The predator in turn are prey to large carnivores. The size of predator and prey population are closely linked. A large prey population supports more predators. If a prey population grows or shrinks, the number of predators may also change as well. Competition occurs when two or more individuals or populations attempt to use the same resource of an environment: food, water, shelter, or sunlight. We know that every environment has limited amount of resources. When one or more individual population use the same resource, they become less available to others. Competition can also occur among individuals within a population. The interspecies competition, or between different species, the interspecies competition. Symbiosis. The relationship where two species live together closely is called symbiosis. The type of symbiosis in which one species gets the benefit while the other species is neither benefited nor harmed is called commensalism. For example, lichens and small plants grow on the trunks of big trees. They get nutrients from trees while the trees get no harm or benefit. A symbiotic relationship in which both species get benefit is called mutualism. An example is the relationship between flowers and the insects that pollinate them. A flower provides food to the insects in the form of nectar. In turn, the insects help in the cross-pollination of flower. As you can see in figure 4.10 and figure 1.11. Figure 1.10 shows commensalism and figure 1.11 shows mutualism. Moving on to the next topic, ecological imbalance. Introduction of new species in an ecosystem, overhunting, migration are the factors which are disturbing the natural balance of the ecosystem. This is called ecological imbalance. Introduction of a new species. The entry of a foreign species into any area can imbalance the natural ecosystem. For example, in Philippines, some species such as toad and golden snail were introduced. The population of these species went uncontrollable because of lack of natural enemies. Overhunting. It is defined as the relentless chase of the wild or game animals to kill or catch them for economic or personal gains or food. Excessive hunting can cause extinction of many species. Overhunting of one animal species causes an abundance of the other, hence leading to an imbalance in the natural ecosystem and the food chain. Shortage of water supply. Due to overpopulation and another constant need for factory-made products, the use of water from water bodies has been increased. The result is the loss of fresh water in water bodies, rivers, canals, and lakes. Pollution in water bodies is not only limited to factory waste. More domestic use of water due to overpopulation also contributes to the pollution and loss of fresh water in water bodies. Climate change also affects the water supply in our environment through food or droughts. Migration is the movement of organisms from one place to another. This movement changes the population of a place. The migration usually takes place for search of food and water and shelter. Big birds migrate for search of food, as shown in figure 1.15. Environmental problem: global warming. Some gases present in the atmosphere, that is carbon dioxide, methane, oxide, water vapor, nitrogen, water vapors, trap a part of the heat reflected by the earth, causing increase in the atmospheric temperature. These gases are called greenhouse gases, and the phenomena is called greenhouse effect. Due to the human activities like burning of fuels, the amount of greenhouse gases is increased in the atmosphere. This speeds up the greenhouse effect. The increasing rate of greenhouse effect is increasing the average temperature of the earth. As a result, earth is getting warmer. This is called global warming. Due to global warming, the ice in the polar region and the mountain melts at a greater rate. This leads to the rise and the level of seawater, which creates flood in low-lying coastal area. The climate of many regions of the world is also changing due to global warming. The global warming is thus a threat to the life on Earth. Factors affecting global warming are burning of fossil fuel, deforestation, overpopulation. Burning of fossil fuel. When fossil fuels are burned or run vehicles and industries, they emit many greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide, which cause global warming. The burning of fossil fuels also increases poisonous substances in the air. The poisonous and harmful substances which make the air unfavorable for life are called air pollutants. One of the air pollutants is carbon monoxide. It affects the human organism system badly and causes headache, brain damage, and respiratory problem. Sulfur dioxide and oxides of nitrogen dissolve in rainwater and cause acid. Exposure of sulfur dioxide can cause breathing difficulties, pneumonia, lung cancer. Deforestation. Destruction of forests as a result of human activities is called deforestation. Deforestation has many adverse effects on the environment. It changes with the weather and climate. Roots of trees hold the soil. Cutting of trees leads to soil erosion, and fertile part of the soil is lost through this process. When forests are cut, the rate of evaporation is reduced, which results in less land. Deforestation decreases the carbon dioxide combustion by plant, increasing its amount in the environment. This leads to increased greenhouse gas effect and global warming. Chamba Manga is the man-made forest in Pakistan. It is found in district Kasur in the Punjab. A fun fact. Overpopulation. When the population of an organism, humans, becomes larger than the capacity of the environment, it is called overpopulation. More people demand for more oil, coal, gas, and more energy resources. When more and more fossil fuels are used, more greenhouse gases and other pollutants are released into the environment. In this way, overpopulation results in more global warming. So, what are the solutions to environmental problems? The Earth is the only planet in our solar system where life exists. Pollutants are harmful to the life on Earth. We should keep the Earth's environment clean and healthy. There are some of the solutions to environmental problems which are explained below. Reducing pollution. We can take many steps to reduce pollution. Domestic trash and other solid waste should not be dumped on open places. Instead of personal car, public transport should be used for travel. Sulfur and lead-free fuel should be used in the vehicles. Factories and industries should be shifted away from the populated areas. Acidic industrial exhaust gases must be neutralized before releasing into the air. Engines of the vehicles should be tuned properly. Chlorofluorocarbons-free products should be used. 4R strategies of refuse, reduce, reuse, recycle for the conservation of resources should be adopted. Trees should be grown along the roadsides. Plantation. There are many benefits of plants. Planting more trees can reduce the level of air pollution as plants absorb pollutants. It also maintains the temperature of an area at a lower level than an area that does not have trees. There are also the habits for birds and many other animals. Trees are also the source of fruits and flowers. Each and every one of us have to plant trees and enhance the quality of life. Protection of endangered species. Human activities cause rapid and widespread environmental changes that affect living things. Many species of animals and plants are at risk of extinction. Such species are called endangered species. One of the major causes of species becoming endangered is habitat loss. Humans cut down trees in forests for harvesting. They clear forests or drain wetlands to use the land for agriculture, mining, and settlement. Similarly, pollution, global warming, excessive hunting are also the cause of species becoming endangered. Some of the endangered species of Pakistan are slow leopard, Indus river dolphin, markhor. Government develop plans to protect the endangered species. Such plans include reducing deforestation, setting aside nature reserves, reducing pollution, and protecting natural habitat. The hunting and trade of endangered species is also banned. Moreover, government make plans to take endangered species into protective custody outside their natural habitats. For example, animals may be kept in zoo. So the key points that we covered during today's lessons include carbon dioxide and oxygen cycles are the processes in which these minerals circulate between organisms and the environment. Organisms need energy for their life activities. The different feeding level of organisms in an ecosystem are called trophic level. The ecological pyramids are usually based on number and weight of organisms at each trophic level. The feeding relationship among organisms at different trophic levels from a chain is called the food chain. Consumers that actively hunt other organisms are called predators. Competition occurs when two or more individuals or population attempt to use the same resource of environment, food, water, shelter, sunlight. A relationship where two species live together closely is called symbiosis. Introduction of niche species, overhunting, change in water supply and migration are some of the factors which can cause ecological imbalance. The increasing rate of greenhouse effect and the ozone depletion is increasing the average temperature of the earth. As a result, the earth globe is getting warmer. This is called global warming. Further key points along the poisonous and harmful substances which make the air favorable for the life are called air pollution. Burning of fossil fuel, deforestation, and overpopulation are factors which are increasing global warming. Many environmental problems can be solved by reducing pollution, replantation, and protecting endangered species. Now here is the exercise of this chapter. Encircle the correct option. The phenomena which does not lead to global warming. A. Greenhouse effect. B. Ozone depletion. C. Deforestation. D. Photosynthesis. Question number 2. The feeding level of an organism in an ecosystem is called a trophic level, session level, food chain, food web. The geographical representation of trophic relationship of an organism in an ecosystem is called food chain, trophic level, ecological pyramid, predation. All the food chains are joined together to form ecological pyramid, food web, trophic level, none of these. Number 5. The energy of sun is trapped as chemical energy by producers, primary consumers, secondary consumers, tertiary consumers. Number 6. Consumers that actively hunt other organisms are called prey, predator, symbiont, competitors. Number 7. A relationship where two species live together closely is called predation, symbiosis, competition, none of these. Number 8. We can solve environmental problem by reducing pollution, plantation, protection of endangered species, all of these. Number 9. Ecological imbalance is caused by migration, overhunting, overpopulation, all of these. Right short answer. What are ecological pyramids? Number 2. What is predation? Number 3. What is the difference between oxygen and carbon dioxide? And B. Food chain, food web. Write down any one solution of environmental problems. Name some of the factors which can cause ecological imbalance. Number 3. Constructed response question. How carbon and oxygen cycles are helpful for the environment? Is the sun the main source of energy for life on earth? Explain. What would be the effect of overhunting? Question number 3. Number 4. Investigate what would happen if we will not work to reduce global warming. Number 2. Why do producers occupy the base of the pyramid? Number 3. Hypothesize what would happen in the ecosystem if population one of the species is affected. Project. Grow a plant in an earthen pot. Material. Earthen pot, soil, cattle manure, seasonal plant seeds. Procedure. Take an earthen pot, fill it with soil, make small quantity of cattle manure in the soil, sow a few seasonal plant seeds into soil in earthen pot, sprinkle water on the soil, place the pot where it can get access to the sunlight. Number 7. After 2 weeks, observe the small seedling grown in the earthen pot. Write down this project will be helpful in reducing pollution. This is all for today. Thank you so much for your patience and listening. Goodbye.